Forget the story you think you know. Forget that iconic yellow umbrella, the romantic blue French horn, the endless beers at MacLaren's, and those cheerful conversations. Because I'm going to tell you a secret that has been right in front of your eyes for years, hidden behind the laughter. How I Met Your Mother is not a warm sitcom. It is the most successful illusion in television history. Yes, you heard that right. For 9 seasons across 208 episodes, the characters we laughed with, cried with, and saw ourselves in, most of them weren't actually there. In fact, maybe none of them were alive in the way we thought. Today, we are putting the famous, spine-chilling theory that haunts the darkest corners of the internet and keeps Reddit fans awake at night on the table: the dead people theory. Do not close this video and do not go anywhere, because when you watch the scenes I'm about to show you with these new eyes, you will realize that those cheerful laugh tracks are actually suppressed sobs, the sounds of crying. And by the end of this video, you won't be questioning why you hated the controversial finale. You'll be questioning how you missed such a terrifying and heartbreaking truth that was shoved in your face for 9 years. By the way, if you love uncovering the dark secrets beneath innocent-looking stories and diving into the unseen part of the iceberg of your childhood favorites, hit that subscribe button right now. Join the Scene Atlas family, because what I'm about to tell you might irreversibly change your childhood memories. If you're ready, we are descending into Ted Mosby's mind, into Purgatory itself. Let's start with the bitter truth everyone knows and agrees on: the finale. We all hated it, didn't we? We rebelled on social media. We waited 9 seasons for the mother, and the writers killed her off in 1 episode just to put Ted back with Robin? What is this nonsense, we said. But what if I told you that the writers didn't write this as a last-minute decision, but planned it from the very beginning? From the pilot episode? What if I told you they were screaming this at us for 9 years, but we couldn't see it through our rose-colored glasses? Remember, who is Ted telling the story to? His children, Penny and Luke. And in what year? 2030. Anyone who watches the show knows. These kids are teenagers with short attention spans. What teenager listens to their father's past romances, drunken nights, and ridiculous adventures for hours, days, even weeks without getting bored? Is there only one logical human explanation for why those kids stay glued to that couch without objecting? Without saying, "Dad, enough"? Maybe it's because these are the last words they will hear about their mother, about her voice, her laugh, her existence. That story isn't entertainment, it's a legacy. But that's not the main point. The real smoking gun is that famous Vesuvius episode in season 9. Remember it? Ted and the mother, Tracy, are having dinner at the Farhampton Inn on a snowy day. The year is 2024. That is exactly 6 years before Ted tells the story to his kids. Tracy and Ted are talking about old stories, laughing. Then the topic shifts to a wedding. Tracy turns to Ted and says that heartbreaking sentence: "What mother is going to miss her daughter's wedding?" And at that moment, the music stops. The smile on Ted's face freezes and he starts to cry. Why is he crying? For a simple story about missing a wedding? No. Because in that moment, both of them see the third person sitting at that table: death. It's 2024 and Tracy is dying. While sitting at that table, they both know she has numbered days left, that she won't live to see her daughter's wedding. Up to here, it looks like a normal drama, right? You say, okay, the mother is dying. They hinted at this before the finale. But wait, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The truly terrifying part is who and what Ted sees while telling this story. Because our theory levels up here. Ted isn't just losing the mother. Ted has actually lost everyone. His story isn't a love story, it's a survival attempt. In a moment, I will show you a scene from the Time Travelers episode that most of us laughed at, but which is actually blood-curdling. When you watch that scene from this new perspective, you will see that Ted is essentially on the border of schizophrenia or in the grip of a deep, unresolved grief. But first, let's look at the color theory, because in cinema, colors never lie. If you've paid attention to the show's color palette, you'll see 2 colors constantly at war: yellow and purple. We know yellow. The yellow umbrella, the yellow school bus, hope, beginnings, happiness, and of course, Tracy. Yellow is Ted's life energy. But what about purple? Purple has always been the color of bad news, inevitable endings, breakups, and death in the show. Is it a coincidence? I don't think so. Look at the clothes the family is wearing when Marshall's dad has a heart attack and dies. Purple. What was Robin wearing wearing in that devastating scene where she found out she could never have children, a purple sweater. This color code whispers to our subconscious. This show is a war between life, yellow, and death, purple, and Ted is trapped between these two colors. Now hold on tight, we are taking the theory a step further. According to the theory, MacLaren's pub is actually Purgatory. None of the characters can truly, fully leave that bar. No matter how much their lives change, even if they get married, move, change jobs, they are there every night, during every crisis, every celebration. Why? Because that is Ted's safe space, the shelter in Ted's mind. Think about it. Throughout the series, jokes are constantly made about Ted's memory. He says, "We were eating sandwiches, but they were actually smoking weed." He forgets names, calls girls blah blah. He mixes up places, changes the order of events. In literature, we call this an unreliable narrator, and we laugh it off. We say, it's just old age. But what if the reason Ted's memory is blurry isn't old age, but loneliness? What if Ted's mind is playing games on him while telling the story? What if that bar, those friends, those adventures are just a simulation Ted reconstructs, alters, and embellishes in his mind over and over again to escape painful truths? What if Ted is actually all alone in that big house while telling that story? Let's open a quick parenthesis here. If you enjoy these theory breakdown videos, discovering the hidden dark side of pop culture, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Because next up is a theory about Friends that will completely, and I mean completely, change your perspective on Phoebe Buffay and her strange behavior. Anyway, let's not get distracted. Let's go back to that terrifying scene. We've arrived at that scene, the turning point of the series. Season 8, Episode 20, The Time Travelers. This episode is the biggest undeniable proof of the HIMYM is actually about dead people theory. If you deny this theory, you cannot explain this scene. Throughout the episode, Ted argues with Barney at the bar, but this is no normal argument. Barney's from the future, Ted's from the past, costumed versions, it's total chaos. We laugh while watching, saying, classic Barney nonsense. What has he invented now? Everything is so fun, so loud. But at the end of the episode, the music stops. Barney turns to Ted. That joking expression on his face disappears, and he slaps the cold, hard truth in Ted's face, and ours. Ted, look around you. You're all alone. At that moment, we realize Ted is actually alone at the bar. There is no beer on the table. There is no Barney across from him. He went to Robots vs. Wrestlers with a single ticket, but didn't even go inside. All those conversations, all those Barney from 20 years later jokes, were just noise created in Ted's mind to suppress his loneliness. This is where the theory kicks in and stabs us in the heart. What if the entire show is like this? What if Ted, sitting in that study in 2030, isn't just mourning his wife who died 6 years ago, but is actually replaying his dead youth, his scattered friend group, and those moments that will never come back in his mind? Marshall, Lily, Robin, Barney. For Ted in 2030, they are now ghosts. Some went on with their lives, some changed, paths separated with others. When Ted says, "How I Met Your Mother," he is actually telling the story of how my life ended and how I survived. That bar, those friendships, that youthful energy, it's all dead. Barney's words ring in our ears and actually spread to the entire series. It's all over, Ted. You are alone. Is it over? No. The real blow, the real emotional destruction comes now. Right after that loneliness scene in the same episode, Ted runs, in his imagination, to find the mother, Tracy. But pay attention, they haven't met yet in the show's timeline. Tracy doesn't know him. Ted knocks on her apartment door and delivers that famous goosebump-inducing 45 days speech. With eyes full of tears, voice trembling, he says, "Exactly 45 days from now, you and I are going to meet. But I want those extra 45 days. I want each one of them. And if I can't have them, I'll take the 45 seconds before your boyfriend shows up. I would do anything to have more time." Stop and think. Why would a person tell someone they haven't met yet, someone they've never seen in their life, "I wish we had more time"? Why calculate the 45 days? Because the person making that speech isn't young Ted. It is the old and grieving Ted in 2030, making that speech in his mind. Because narrator Ted knows, while reliving that moment, that Tracy is already dead, buried underground. In that scene, Ted isn't running to his future wife. He is actually running to his wife in the grave. He is screaming, "I wish I hadn't wasted those 45 days to find you. I wish I could hold your hand for 45 more days." According to this theory, How I Met Your Mother isn't a meeting story, it is a very long goodbye letter. Ted is trying to keep everyone, every memory from his past so alive, so detailed in his mind that he immortalizes them in his story. Barney never aging, always wearing suits, being a caricaturized legendary character. Maybe Barney is the ghost of that childish side Ted created in his mind, the side that never grows up, never gets sad, never dies? Doesn't Barney saying, "I am forever changed" when his daughter is born in the finale mean Ted is killing his own inner child and accepting the painful reality of adulthood? So, my friends, the dead people in the show don't have to be physically dead. They are the people stuck in Ted's past, no longer reachable, swallowed by time. And Ted, in a purgatory filled with these ghosts, is trying to keep them alive one last time, trying to stop them from leaving by telling his story over and over again. In conclusion, How I Met Your Mother is the production that pulled the biggest plot twist in TV history, the one that deceived us the deepest. They made us laugh for 9 years, they entertained us, but they actually made us watch a funeral procession in slow motion lasting 9 years. We watched a man's process of saying goodbye to what he lost. When Ted takes that blue French horn and goes to Robin's window in the finale, he wasn't just going to an old flame, he was trying to let go of the ghosts of the past, to escape that purgatory, and hold on to the only living reality, the present time, the last person surviving. He buried the past and chose to live. So what do you think about this theory? Was Ted really living the delusions of a lonely man? Or did the writers just write a bad finale? Did this dead people perspective make you want to rewatch the series? Definitely write your theory in the comments. I will read every single one and heart them. And if you say, if HIMYM is dark, wait until you hear what Lost is actually about. Or if you are curious about those strange details in Friends, click on the video appearing right there. In that video, I destroyed all those purgatory theories about Lost and explained with proof what the island actually is. See you in that video. Stay with Scene Atlas. Goodbye!